Hi, I'm Paco, and you're watching Bad Witch Books. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over all the books I read in the month of May. It is already the 1st of June, and we are excited to get this started. I had a pretty decent reading month, especially like the first 2 weeks. I was knocking books out really strong, and then the third week I did not really read anything. I had to DNF a couple books, which I don't really go over books I DNF because I do plan on picking them up again. And then this last week I was trying to finish and it was slow, so I'm hoping June we have a more successful reading month. But let's get to it, shall we? Well, first we're going to get, not to it, but let's get to Stats Paco, because he has all the details. Hey guys, it's Stats Paco. I'm filming this later, because I forgot to film it last night, so we're filming this today. But some from the future, or past, I don't know. Okay, so in the month of May, I read a total of 8 books, about 1,168 pages, 53 hours, 57 minutes, an average rating of 3.9. I got... two of the books I read are rereads. I started 3 series, and of the 8 books, 5 were diverse. We love that. 5 of them were audiobooks, 2 were physical, and 1 was a mixture. And then 7 of them were novels, and 1 was a novella. And then for audience, 4 were adult and 4 were young adult. So that's a good mix. I like that mixing. And then I had about 2 3 stars, 2 3.5, 1 4-star, 2 4.5, and 1 5-star rating. So I had a decent rating system. I got a solid month in May. But back to Past Paco, or Past Paco. Like Stats Paco said, in the month of May, I read about 8 books. I do not have 2 of them, so I'll be talking about those first, and then we'll talk about the rest after. So the first book I read for the month of May was The Otherwhere Post by Emily J. something, I believe is her name. But you'll see it right here, and it will be right here, unlike last time. This book is about a girl who, like, a bunch of years ago, in this world where there's multiple, like, realms, her father apparently unleashed this, like, thing that killed a bunch of people and basically locked one of the realms away and destroyed the way they get between the realms. So the only one now that can go between the realms are the people that are part of the post system. They have a magic that allows them to teleport, and it's only they're allowed to do that. So her father did that, so she's kind of in hiding, because she's like, if people find out who my dad is, I'm going to be treated differently. People are going to think of me a pariah and stuff like that. And so she's planning to kind of go, like, escape somewhere, or not escape, but like get somewhere, like she has all her money saved so she can get somewhere enough where her name won't matter, like a small farm or something, I believe, like that. It's been a minute since I read this book, but she gets a letter from the magic post, and it's like, your dad didn't do it, and that's it. It's like mysterious friend. And so she is like, what the hell? So she goes to the post to find out, the school where they teach the posts, to find out what happened, and she joins it, and the mystery ensues. I enjoyed this. It took a while for me to get really into it, but like once it got to the second half, I was really into it. So I'm giving this book about 3 stars. I think the magic and the world building was pretty fun, and the way that this worked for like mailman magic was really cool. So I will be reading more from this author. The next book I don't have that I read was Murderbot, the first number 1, All Systems Red. This is by Martha Wells, and this follows our Murderbot as it is assigned to be a part of this crew, and it's trying to keep the crew safe from shit. And it was a fun short story. It was a novella. I read it for a book club. I read these both for book clubs. And it was a fun short story, nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. I didn't like instantly love it. I did get into a part of volume 2 of the second one, and I was enjoying that more, but I stopped reading it because I didn't meet the book club time for that. But I enjoyed it. All Systems Red was pretty fun. I'm probably going to check out the series now because of it, and I will be reading more in the series eventually. So that was about like a 3 stars, like a 3.5, I guess. So now it's on to the books that I physically own. So the first book that I have here that I physically own, I finally read Light Lark by Alex Aster. This book follows Isla Changeling? Isla Crown, actually, is her name. She is a wildling, so she has like nature. So it's like nymphs. She has like power over nature, but and like supposed to be a battlefiul warrior. And she is the leader of the wildlings, and her and the 6 other leaders of the 6 other like magical people have to compete in this contest because they're all cursed. And the wildling curse is that wildlings eat the heart of the one they love. So she is entered this contest to kind of break, like to find a way to break it and survive, because she's the youngest and kind of like the most inexperienced of all of the other leaders, because like a couple of the leaders are like hundreds of years old, so she is trying to survive it. And I enjoyed this. I did not hate this. I didn't love it. Like, this is a solid 3. I do think I will continue with the world because it was a fun romantic vibes to it. YA. It did feel like this would, I think if I was younger when I read this, like when I was in my ACOTAR bag, I would have loved this a lot more. But I didn't hate it. I heard so much terrible things about this and so much great things that I kind of, the way I felt when I first read Fourth Wing is kind of how I felt about this. So that's all I'll really say about it. The world building was fun. Like the different kind of creatures they have was interesting. And so I am wanting to continue on with this trilogy just to see what happens. So the next book that I have that I read, that I have here, is The Maid and the Crocodile by Jordan Fueko. This is a standalone, but it is set in the world of the Raybearer duology, and I will say I think you should read while it's not like massive spoilers for Raybearer duology, I do think you need to read the Raybearer duology to get a better understanding and enjoyment of this. But this follows Small Shade, who is a maid. She is also a sin eater, so she could like eat people's sins and their regrets and stuff. And she is like kind of being let go from her orphanage because she's of age, and she's trying to find a job. And she runs into the mysterious crocodile god who offers her like protection. It's very Howl's Moving Castle inspired, and I love it. I love Howl's Moving Castle, one of my favorite movies. And any book that's like Howl's Moving Castle vibes, I eat up. Like this and Where the Dark Sand Stills, I'm eating up. I really enjoyed this. I do think this is my favorite Jordan Fueko book so far. She is like one of my favorite authors at this point now, because every book I've read from her is like a 4.5 or below. This is a 5-star. This is my favorite book I think I've read this month. It was just so good. I was really enjoying it. I was enjoying the romantic, like kicking my feet at some of the romantic shit and the banter that our two characters had, but also I really liked the discussion of class divide in this, and it didn't feel preachy to me. Like sometimes when you read a book with like a political topic, it can kind of read preachy or like standing on a pedestal, and to me I didn't feel like that from this book. I really enjoyed it, and especially just the time we're in, it is great to read a book with class like that discusses class divide in a way. So like 5 stars. I love this. The next book I read for the month of May. I keep wanting to say June, even though it is not June. It is barely May. May has just ended, but it is like, how are we already at the beginning of June? I don't know. The next book I have here is Blood and Honey by Shelley Mahurin. This is the sequel to Serpent and Dove. This follows Lude and Reed as they continue on their journey to survive. Lude is a witch, Reed is a witch hunter. I enjoyed this. Our two main characters are irritating. This book is a 4 compared to Serpent and Dove, which is a 5. This is a reread for me because I'm buddy reading this with Helen and Princess. So I've read this before, and I understand the choices that Lou and Reed have to make in this book because it's for character growth and stuff. I'm just irritated with them because it's like, come on, y'all, get this shit together. But it was still really enjoyable. I enjoy that this explores much more of the magical world, and we got to see more of the, like the werewolves and more of the blood witches in this one. So I am very excited to be rereading Gods and Monsters. So that was like a 4, like I said, a 4. The next book I have was Enchantra by Kylie Smith. This is the sequel to Phantasma, where Phantasma follows Ophelia Grimm. This follows her sister, Genevieve Grimm, who is like, she's touring Italy, and she ends up going to this manor, and they're like, she goes to it looking for someone. And then when she shows up, they're like, you had to choose the worst time to show up, because now that you've entered, you have to get married to one of us to survive, to not be killed outright, and then like compete in this like hide and seek game is the vibes of it. So it does have its own challenges, and it's fun. It's hot. The romantic lead in this is like A plus Shadow Daddy vibes. Rowan, oh, so hot. So I really enjoyed this. I also did read this for the 2025 release for the bingo board. I read this for that. I read the Made in the Crocodile was for the one that's like reuse the square. I used that for Entitled Animals. So I gave Enchantress 4 stars. The next book I read was Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. This book is a standalone, and it follows our main character, Tao. She is a fortune teller, and she is an immigrant to this place, but she was brought over when she was very young, and she is able to read small fortunes. And while she is out and about, like, kind of just, on a like, leading her cart, and where she meets these two guys. One is looking for his lost daughter that's been missing, and they get bound, and stuff like that happens. This was fun. This was a cozy read. I do give this 3 stars. I felt like this was missing something. I feel one of the things I've seen people talk about, and I agree, that it is weird to have a cozy fantasy book with a missing child being the, like, plot behind it. It just didn't have the, like, we were dwelling on things when I felt like we shouldn't have been dwelling on things. It was fun, and the found family was fun, but it just, to me, is like, yeah, but you guys are looking for a missing child, and we are too calm about this. I don't know. That was one of the vibes I got from it, that I was like, okay, this is So it's not my favorite cozy fantasy book I've read. It was still good, where I like to talk about the immigrant experience, especially like To, because she was brought over when she was a smart child. So at one point in the book, she meets a elder of her people there also as well, and he like tries to speak to her in her language, and she's like, I'm sorry, I haven't been here. I haven't been home for so long, and so she kind of forgot part of the language. And it felt, not like that, but I liked the way that was done and discussed. It was really good to see about the immigration story. So I gave this about like a 3 stars. It was all right. And I did read this for the personal book club. Me, Princess Helen, Jen, Lynn, and Jazz are in. I got them all right this time. And yeah, so like a 3 stars. And it was a part of my Fairy Loot challenge, so I'm glad I read it. The last book I have that I read I legit finished today, so I'm counting it for May, was The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. This was another reread. This book is about Priya, who is a maid, and she has some secrets. Is hired to work for this princess who is held in this abandoned temple, kind of like a prison. She's imprisoned by her brother, the king, because he wants her, but he can't. He wants her. So they bond, and it's political intrigue. There's magic. It's fun. I really don't want to say much because I feel like you should just read this series. I am reading this as part of my 4 series I want to read before the year ends, and this was a reread because I had already read this, and I'm excited to continue on with the series. So I give this 4 stars as well. So yeah, that was my reading month for the month of May. What did you guys read? Tell me your ratings. Tell me your stats if you want to join the stats block. Maybe I can't stand that hoe. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.